So hello guys and welcome back to my channel Anime Hub. Today I am going to explain episode 6 of Hell Paradise. So let's begin. The story continues with Rokuroa thinking back to his childhood as his parents comment on how much he used to eat, but the devastating results of his abnormal gluttony at a later date is hinted at when some corpses are littered around the place. We flash back to the present as things are shown from a different angle. It is revealed that it was Genji who pushed Sudri out of harm's way as Rokuroa came in with that powerful swipe. The attack sends Genji flying a few meters into a tree, which breaks his fall, but leaves further internal injuries as he coughs up some of his bodily fluids. As he slumps to the floor, Sagri rushes over, concerned. She states that he needs immediate medical attention, which is a big understatement since the guy has a bit of chump taken out of him. He instructs her to run, informing her that it's too late for him. The senior looks over with concern as hungry Rokuroa closes into attack surgery. The giant's stomach is severely growling. Gabimaru intercepts with the hero's drop kick, which sends Rokuroa flying a surprisingly far distance as the trees crash down. Looks like the ninja didn't skip leg day. Gabimaru is confused to know if the attacker is a condemned criminal like him or a monster because of his structure. As Rok eroded glares at Gabimaru, he notices that he's not injured. Sudri confirms that the giant is a criminal and she has a worried look on her face because Aizen was assigned to be his executioner. She fears the worst since he's not around. Rokuroa recovers and continues his intense glare. Gabimaru notes that his eyes are of a predator that has located its prey. He has already begun to analyze the situation and knows that it will be almost impossible for them to escape together. He pulls his nose mask like it is a throwback to 2020 while he decides to end the giant since his kicks were ineffective. He concludes that Rokuroa's durability is on the same level as his village's chief. Gabimaru recalls his training as the boss tells him of the 9th ninja rule, which is to accurately analyze the enemy's abilities. He feels like he will confirm his suspicion once they clash again. The giant shocks him by uprooting a tree and hurling it at him with one hand like he's pitching a baseball. Gabimaru dodges, but all Sudri can do is brace, hoping that it doesn't hit her and Genji. Based on that feat, the ninja concludes that the giant is stronger than him. He turns to Yuzuria, calling on her to help him take down this monster of a human. She has her executioner pinned to a tree and tells Gabimaru that she's responsible for gathering information while he's responsible for the fighting. She begins to bang her blades together and cheer like it's a sports event. His attention and draws back to the fight as Rokuroa winds up for a powerful swing. He initially underestimates the incoming attack, confident that he can cancel it with his attack. However, he rethinks his defense and dodges instead. As the giant palm closes in, he continues to dodge the rest of the attacks, commenting on how fast the giant swings and reactions are. His instincts are telling him that it is impossible to defend against the giant's fists, which is why he dodged. One hit from those barbaric hands means instant death. With that in mind, Gabimaru takes a different approach and uses a long-range stone attack that just bounces off Rokuroa like it's nothing, but the true potency of that attack can only be seen when a stray rock punches a hole through a nearby tree. After confirming new projectiles are ineffective too, he decides to use one of his sashes and uses ninja art to turn it into a blade, but the attack also proves useless. He tries a variety of different attacks in hopes of getting through, but nothing works. All the while surgery tends to Genji's wounds, but he knows it's fatal, so he asks her to stop. This is further illustrated when the fresh cloth rapidly starts to turn red. He still pleads that she runs, but she refuses to leave him and still believes that she can stop his leaking. He finds her conviction strange, as just a moment ago she was blustering like a man when he suggested she go back home, and now he can feel care and affection only a woman can provide. She isn't too fussed about that at the moment since the situation is dire. He laughs knowing that she has chosen her way of life. It's the norm to attribute strength to manliness and weakness to femininity, but instead she has accepted both concepts that women can also be strong in their femininity. She essentially embodies the middle way. With Genji coming to this understanding, he gives her his sword, reiterating that it's a warrior's soul. As he finally seeing her as one, the senior is sure that Rokuroa killed Aizen, which is true since he sees her as one of them. Now he's not going to ask her to run anymore, but to stand in Rokuroa. He makes his acknowledgement official when he addresses her by her full title. Surgery takes the blade with a unique tenderness and conviction. Meanwhile, Gabimaru has thrown everything in the kitchen sink at him his last option is to use his special fire ninjutsu. If he can help, he could find a blind spot to execute his technique. While in deep thought, he dodges a swipe, thinking nothing of it. However, his attention is drawn toward the aftermath when Rokuroda screams in pain as one of his pinkies has been taken away. He looks over to see Sudri standing next to him. She explains that a clean cut can be achieved if one inserts the blade at the junction of extended muscles, tendons and bone. Even the strongest bodies are not exempt, no matter how outlandish the opponent. The Execution Clan's principles and styles still apply. This can only be achieved through understanding the structure of their body. Gabamaru finds her timing to be perfect as they both look and plead for each other's assistance. On top of the tree, Sina asks Yuzuria to release him as he wants to tend to his fellow students' wounds. She's a little confused as it is too late for him, and from her observation she knows he's not that type of guy. She is more fascinated to see that no monsters have approached to spike the commotion they're making with the position they have taken. The two can observe things and flee if the others were to die. Gabamaru and Sudri noticed that the giant has already recovered from the injury as it is not serious for him. The ninja states that they need a single ending blow if they are to take him out. Surgery will have to transcend her limits to land such a strike, but at the moment his neck is too high for her to reach. Gabamaru suggests that he will create an opportunity for her to cut his legs from his blind spot to make him kneel. Rokuroda interrupts their meeting with a punch that the ninja skillfully deflects. This causes the giant to hyper-extend. Sudri gets it to position and strikes as she thinks about her fallen senior, but she's not able to cut him. She quickly retreats as an attack comes her way. Gabamara makes sure that she's fine before they try again. Sudri takes a deep breath, acknowledging that she was too aggressive in the last attack, which affected her swordsmanship. She removes all emotion from her preparation, only looking at things objectively. Rokuroda attack, but the ninja barely manages to evade as the toll of dodging begins to manifest. Since it takes a high degree of skill, Surgery finds an opening and strikes his arm up, but the blade recoils back like it's blunt. She points out that it's a challenge to cut through his bones while he's rampaging. The giant's movement closes the gaps between his bones, leaving no space for her blade. She needs him to be hunched over so that she can land the final blow. His large stomach growled leaves them speechless. This is followed by a shriek as tears gush from his face mask. The sound is so piercing that everyone covers their ears. Before Gabamaru can react, he already closes the distance and lands a devastating attack, slamming him to the ground. He gets back up after losing consciousness for a moment, but after taking a direct hit he feels like he can handle it. He falls to his knees as red residue gushes from his eyes and mouth. Surgery rushes over his Rokero. It comes in with the finishing blow as the giant fist jets towards her. She enters an elevated state of consciousness as she quells all her inner turmoil and swiftly deflects the attacks. Gabamaru watches in shock as the strength he sensed in her when they first met manifest again. Yuzuriha is amazed by what she sees. Senna points out that she is the lowest, but the clan's rankings aren't determined purely by skill. It is assigned according to the person's suitability to lead the clan. As such, she loses standing simply for being a woman. However, in terms of pure sword skill, she's better than most, rated highly. This is also emphasized by a dying Genji, who watches on as she continues to deflect the assault. An opportunity to end him presents itself as Rokuroda stumbles to the floor. Sudri dashes over to land the blow, but he senses the danger and quickly evades. Gabamaru has an idea of how they can incapacitate him, but he warns that it's a bit extreme as fire oozes out of him. He intensifies the flames, which gets Yuzuria worried. She tells Senna that they have to evacuate the area. Gabamaru begins to use a variety of fire-based attacks at Rokuroda, but the guy deflects it, which causes the surrounding woodland to catch fire. As Yuzuho runs away, she reveals that they intend to use the massive amount of smoke produced by the burning of raw wood oils to suffocate Rokuroda while he rampages. The toxic fumes in the smoke cause him to fall to the ground as he struggles to breathe. This gives Sudri the chance to land her blow as the giant's neck is perfectly presented to her. Rokuroda notices that his life is in danger and tries to counter, but Gabamara checks the attack and holds down the brute's hand with all his might. He shouts at her to cut as he won't last long in a contest of strength. The structure of Rokuroda's neck becomes visible to her as she calms herself and makes the cut. She looks into his eyes and immediately understands the hard and misunderstood life he has lived. He has an internal dialogue along with a flashback explaining that he never felt full and he didn't know his true strength, so when he was playing with people he just ended them by accident. Sudri holds his head consoling him, and as the life leaves his eyes she closes it. Gabimaru feels like they should evacuate the area, suspecting that the monsters might be drawn to the fire. Sudri pays her final respects to Jinji's lifeless body. Before leaving they keep low as the monsters begin to make their way. Just as foretold by the ninja, he suggests that they proceed in the direction the monsters came from, as it would be the best place to continue their search for the elixir. He complains a little that he needs rest after taking so much damage in that fight. She begins to get sentimental about her seniors' deaths and stops the trail of thought, as it is disrespectful to their conviction as they took the job, knowing the risks. As they run she remembers her goals. The two catch up to Yuzuriha and Santa, who are standing there with a look of shock on their faces. As they get closer and see for themselves, they too have the same expression. There is a village on the island. Given the known history of the place, they speculate that it could be where the hermits lived. All the while Toma and Aza finish off the remaining monsters that attack them. The banded king drinks the juice of one of his victims for sustenance, but his brother is not sure about that decision. Oza interrupts his brother as he gives some exposition to inform him that there is something in the forest. The brothers go to investigate and are shocked to see two beings about to engage in adult yoga. When they spot the brothers they pause and give them a very strange look that brings the episode to an end.